Don't settle for bad socks. Get comfort and grip at an affordable price with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Choose from 18 different colors at puregripsocks.com.
Inside these 5 boxes is the entire Mundial Federations pack. Country-specific colorway variations of what has historically been an exclusively black and white football boot for 45 years now. I know people aren't really hyped on the Copa these days, but it's been about 10 years since they've done anything like this, the Samba pack being the last time we got what were admittedly some kind of strange Copa colorways. These, I think, look significantly better. With the first pair being a colorway that you'd think they would have made a long time ago, given that the Copa Mundial's claim to fame is that it's still made in Germany. It's currently the only Adidas football boot made in Germany, so it only makes sense to do a German-themed color, this being all white across the entire upper, including the laces, with the 3 stripes, of course, making up the German flag. Gold Copa Mundial detailing on the side of the upper, on the tongue, as well as the Adidas logo there on the back, with the outsole being in more of an off-white, making it a little bit different from a standard Copa, where it's still that off-white plastic, but the studs are the same color rather than being black. Oh, and the aglets also have the German colors. This is also one of those colorways that they had to get in sooner rather than later because, as I'm sure you've heard, it's being reported that as of 2027, Nike will be taking over as the kit supplier for the German national team. It's very controversial. Plenty of people are super upset, but you will notice a theme across this pack. It is themed off of countries who Adidas currently provides national team kits for. Really quickly, before we keep going, if you're interested in any of these very special Copa colorways, keep in mind that they are limited edition, and once they're gone for good. Adidas does not do this very often. These retail for $200, which is a $20 premium over a standard Copa Mundial. However, you can pick them up for a little bit less by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes via the first link down below. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure when I first started making videos back in 2011, the Copa Mundial retailed for around $90 or so. So to think that even just a regular black and white colorway has doubled in price in 13 years is pretty nuts. Although how many boots have been in constant production for the last 13 years? The next pair is, of course, the Spain colorway, which wasn't my favorite in pictures online, but now that I see them in person, I honestly really like it. The dark navy blue upper in combination with the red as well as this kind of orangey yellow color really gives this a super retro look, and I think it's very fitting for the kind of classic old school Copa Mundial styling in general. I love the navy in the leather. The navy in the laces is just that little bit of a different shade. And then of course you have the red to yellow to red in the stripes themselves, the little red detail on the heel tab as well as on the tongue liner as well as the insole. All white bottom once again, and of course the matching Spanish themed aglets, although do keep in mind that all of these boots, regardless of the colorway, are still made in Germany. Up next we have the Italian pair, which is a colorway that pretty much designed itself, where you have the Italy home kit royal blue across the entire upper, really making this a super vibrant pair of Copas, with of course the red, white, and green within the stripes themselves, white and gold detailing on the tongue as well as the heel tab, and of course the all-white bottom. This, I think, is just a really unique pair of boots. And of course, you also get the matching aglets. With the Mexico pair also being, in my opinion, a fantastic colorway. And again, it's one of those that does look different in person. I hope it comes through in the video. But instead of a pure white like the Germany pair, this has more of like an aged off-white look to it, with almost a slight yellowy tinge, but one that still looks extremely premium. That takes care of the entire upper, including the laces. And then of course you get the Mexico red, white, and green within the stripes. And you can see with the white stripe the difference in color, and that's a bright white where the rest of the upper is a little bit more of that off-white. They opted for the more traditional black Adidas Copa branding here on the tongue itself, but then you get the dark green with the white on the heel tab, white on the insole, white for the sole plate, and of course the Mexican themed aglets. And then finally there's the Argentina / Messi variation, which probably has the most design variation of the entire pack. And then of course you do get that sky Argentina blue, which does make this really stand out from the pack, and in my opinion almost looks a little bit out of place on a classic Copa Mundial. Not to say that I think they look bad, but it's definitely strange to see a Copa in this very light but also bright blue. You have the white Adidas stripes as well as the white eye stays around the lacing system itself. They also opted for a white tongue and laces with the black Adidas logo and blue accents on the tongue, the white heel tab with the blue Adidas branding, the all-white sole plate that's an off-white, doesn't quite match what you have here on the upper, but still looks pretty good. And then unlike every other pack that just says made in Germany with the Adidas logo, this actually has the Messi signature logo on the heel of the insole. Imagine if Messi wore these in a match. That would go down as, in my opinion at least, one of the coolest football boot moments ever. Fancy, vibrant, un-Copa-like colors aside, these feel just like the OGs in black and white, still made in Germany, still kangaroo leather all the way through. And for anybody that struggles to find a comfortable pair of football boots, I know this isn't really the style of boot that I think most people are after these days, but at the end of the day, if you're running around and you're constantly getting blisters and generally feeling uncomfortable, that's going to affect your performance negatively rather than just picking something like this where I get it. It's a 45-year-old design. There's borderline no tech in this whatsoever by today's standards, but if they fit you well and they feel comfortable on your feet, you are more than likely going to play better. Which brings me to my next point in saying that yes, these are still very much wearable by today's standards. While the traction definitely isn't as aggressive as what you're going to find from just about any modern boot these days, and from a weight perspective, they're going to have an extra 40 grams or 2 ounces depending on what you compare them to. They still don't feel overly heavy on feet. It's one of those boots that just has that classic, super soft, no nonsense kangaroo leather touch on the ball, which is arguably as good as anything that's currently available today. And like I said, from a comfort perspective, these are almost impossible to beat. Certainly if you have super wide feet, the classic Copa Mundial would be one of the absolute best choices on the market. The only thing you have to keep in mind with the Copa is the sizing, because it is also a little bit on the old school size. Normally I wear a size 9.5 US in a pair of Adidas boots. These on my feet are in a size 8.5 US, a full size down, and as you can see, they fit me quite snug, but these leather football boots are going to stretch pretty much everywhere, so it's absolutely critical that you get them to fit as snug as possible out of the box, because if you buy them with extra room, they're going to stretch and just simply be too big. These are boots that do require some break-in time, and I would strongly recommend getting them to fit as tight as possible out of the box, because after a couple hours of wear, they're going to stretch and mold to your feet perfectly. If you leave that extra room from brand new, they're going to overstretch on you. So that is something you have to keep in mind, where with the Copa Mundial, if you're basing it off of your current US size, I would personally recommend going down a full size to a size and a half in order to have the best possible fit after break-in. In 2024, given how much football boots have changed, it's safe to say that these aren't for everybody. But if you're a football boot enthusiast and you've never had an OG pair of Copa Mundials, whether it's one of these special colorways or just a classic pair in black and white, while they're not as affordable as they used to be, I think it's well worth the investment to experience one of the greatest football boots ever made. 45 years old and still going strong. But there you have it, the entire Mundial Federations pack. Which one's your favorite, and would you still wear a pair of Copa Mundials in 2024? I would.